Hello and welcome. I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor and you're watching Coffee and Crypto, where you get your daily dose, in fact your weekly dose of everything that's happening in the crypto space. So, what a week really we've had, from regulation, ban happening, not happening, prices and market going berserk. Well, bottom line, at the moment there is no ban. NDTV can confirm to you from sources, stakeholders, governments, everybody, that there is going to be a regulation which is still in the works. So nothing is final yet. In fact, there is no bill that is final as well. But that is going to be something that we look at during the show. Also coming up on the show, in fact, is going to be this beautiful world of metaverse that I'm going to introduce you to. And where do we introduce you? On the coffee table. So let's dive right in. So the term metaverse was actually put into the public consciousness, yes, you guessed it right, by Facebook. They got rebranded, and curiously some tokens also related to crypto gaming went up. So the question is, are these two events connected in any way? Seems like the answer is yes. First, however, let's take a look at the term metaverse itself. Now, author Neal Stephenson is credited by basically coining the term metaverse in his 1992 science fiction novel called Snow Crash. Now, in the novel, he envisioned a lifelike avatar of people like you and me who met in a realistic 3D building and other virtual reality environments. Users could show off the status by sophistication of their avatar and also access exclusive metaverse clubs. Fascinating, right? But now you must be wondering, what's the crypto tech that doing in this entire metaverse universe? Let's tell you that. So since the novel, various developments, tech innovation has happened towards making metaverse a reality. Real reality, we'll get to that. But to understand metaverse very, very simply, it's like an online virtual world which incorporates augmented reality, virtual reality, 3D holographic avatars, video, and several other means of communication as well. As the metaverse expands, it will offer a hyper-real alternative world for you and I to coexist in. Let that sink in. You can do meetings, you can do hangouts, clubs, take vacations with your friends, all virtually. In fact, in October this year, a metaverse festival took place and saw performances from the likes of Paris Hilton, Snoop Dogg. They hosted a private virtual party as well in the virtual mansion in the Sandbox, which is one of such metaverse spaces as well. In fact, one of the biggest stars of Bollywood has now jumped on the metaverse bandwagon. Stay tuned to know who exactly was that. But what is in this metaverse universe then, right? So there are NFT art galleries by digital art collectors, fashion shows as well. All of that happening in metaverse. The holders of the Bored Ape Yacht Club NFT get special privilege like access to an exclusive digital area, acting and collective, sort of collaborative as well in Graffiti Board. You see all those visuals there on your screen. Whew! Lot to process, right? So everything envisioned really in that novel Snow Crash, now a reality. And that's the power of tech really. And the best thing about this is that metaverse is going to be decentralized. What does that mean? That anybody can create their own version of the already built product, since the code is an open source. So anybody can build extension worlds without a worry. What to expect and when, importantly, to expect to see all this? Well, Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO of the newly named Meta, formerly Facebook, estimates it could take still about 5 to 10 years before the key features of metaverse become mainstream. But aspects of metaverse currently exist already. We showed you some snippets of that. Now, ultra-fast broadband speeds, virtual reality headsets. Now, persistent anyways in the online world, a lot of it already there in the gaming business, giving us all access to a virtual reality, like I said, where you and I will coexist. All right, so having understood that very fascinating thing about metaverse, let's bring you our expert of the day on that. Joining us today is Aditya from Crypto India over there. Hi, Aditya, and welcome to CC. Now, much really to talk about when it comes to the metaverse universe, but I just want to start by dropping in the biggest news of the day here, and we let our viewers also watch. None other than Deepika Padukone has got into the metaverse bandwagon, right? And while our viewers sort of process that on how soon this is going to be You're in My Reality, just give us a sense of what exactly this means. You know, one of the key outcomes here, and I get this question very often, that, in fact, let me reverse it. NFTs, right? People keep thinking, what is this crazy valuation that NFTs hold? This actually is a perfect use case scenario for these NFTs.
Right. So if we look at metaverse, so as you clearly explained, like it is beautifully explained, and if you're into reading, you can read Snow Crash by Steven Nelson, and if you're into movies, you should definitely watch Ready Player One. So that will give you an idea if you're still not able to understand the entire concept of metaverse. So this is what is happening. As technology always keeps on evolving. There was a time where we were like reading books and reading newspapers. Then we evolved. Now everything that we do, that is basically on a screen. So in future, like 10 to 15 years, there will be a time where we'll not be looking at a screen, but we'll be inside a screen. And that is where all these NFTs come in. Like if you look at NFTs, you might have seen news like people buying a JPEG or an image for $1 million. In real life, that does not make any sense. But in metaverse, it does make sense. Because just the way you buy, like you stuff in real life, in future, 10 to 15 years from now, or maybe 15 to 20 years from now, people will be buying stuff online and it will be digital NFTs.
But you know, I just want to put this in perspective over here, and I'll request our producers to put out the Deepika Padukone sort of metaverse drop that she's made as well. I don't know if that's what you call it, a drop maybe, or what exactly. It's just a teaser to tell us what exactly she's getting into. But Aditya, this is going to happen in your and my lifetime. This is going to be a reality.
Yeah, this is probably happening right now. Like I recently was exploring Oculus, so it's very fascinating the things that you can do when you can interact with people, and that is what Facebook is also planning to do. Like there's one part of it where we have big tech giants who are building products around metaverse, and there is other part of it where we already have existing crypto projects where they are building NFTs. And all of this will eventually come together, because nowadays if you buy something online, like if you even buy something in some game or any platform, it is owned by the company. But now we are moving towards an era where if you buy something, you need to own it. So that is where NFTs, cryptocurrencies, blockchain, Ethereum, all of this comes in, where if you buy something online, you will have the private key for that item and you will completely own it.
Right, but still so many things that boggle you about metaverse. But this is the conversation we'll keep having. Thanks, Aditya, for joining us on Coffee and Crypto.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
All right, then. So that was the gyan of the day. Let's move to the newsmaker of CC this week. And it had to be somebody from the crypto world. Why, you ask? Well, because of the craziness that we saw in the crypto space, because of misinformation that came out that there was going to be a bill that will be tabled by the government and it is going to ban crypto in India. That's certainly not the case. In fact, the bill is still in the works. We don't even know what the final bill is going to look like. So to talk to us about that, let's talk to somebody who's actually had audience with the government, had this negotiation one-on-one to understand which way this is going. Joining us today on the show is Ashish Singhal, CEO of CoinSwitch Kuber. Hi Ashish, welcome to CC. Firstly, just start by telling us what a week it must have been for you guys as well. It's been absolute panic. But as we speak, in fact, much earlier as well, most of the coins or the coins with highest market caps have come to pre-crash levels, right? So it all is well now, at least in the crypto space.
Oh, so last couple of days have been very hectic, making sure that the users are protected, they get the right information from the right source has been one of the challenges. I think what the parliamentary, the listing kind of create a buzz into the ecosystem. A lot of interpretations were coming out into the market without knowing, what the real repercussions would be, what reality of the bill is actually there, right? So I think a lot of our time in the last 2 days have gone into tackling this misinformation, creating the right set of information for our users, making sure that they are protected at any given point in time.
Misinformation had to be addressed indeed, and that's why we have been covering all that news that has been breaking on NDTV as well, on this show as well. But Ashish, tell us, you've had one-on-one FaceTime with the government on this matter, right? How close are we to a final bill, or let's put it this way, at what stage is the negotiation to have crypto regulated in India?
So our discussion over the last few weeks indicate that there is a broad agreement on ensuring customers are protected, financial system stability is reinforced, and India is able to take advantage of the crypto technology revolution in itself. So people are now understanding that crypto is beyond currency use case itself. It's the new asset class in the making. Tomorrow's big companies, big use cases would be solved and built on blockchain, and hopefully would come from India. So they're ready to regulate this in a way that that can promote this entire technical revolution in the making, right? So we are very, very hopeful that there would be positive steps taken in the right direction. There are definitely cons in crypto as well. So creating regulations which would tight fence those cons and create financial stability, yet providing progressive regulations to actually help innovation to foster in India.
Progressive regulation, well, that seems to be the keyword, not just coming from industry, but even the Prime Minister when he spoke on this matter. So thanks, Ashish, for joining us. Well, that should give you a perspective on what the truth really when it comes to the regulation is, and currently how things stand in India. On that note, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll talk a little more about regulation, and joining us will be Subhash Chandra Garg. He'll bring you the other side. He's former finance secretary as well, on which way is this going. A very smiling Mr. Garg joins us in just a bit. Stay tuned for that. All right, so all about ban on crypto, regulation on crypto, markets going berserk. Well, as we speak, most of the coins have actually come back to their pre-crash levels. That's the beauty of the crypto world, really, on how things go on one tweet, on one piece of news as well. But let's understand this entire regulation formulation in a little bit of detail. And joining us now is a former finance secretary, Subhash Chandra Garg. Hello, Mr. Garg, welcome. Just want to get your thoughts on how did you think the last week entirely went? I've been reading your views on what you think crypto, and I say crypto, not cryptocurrency for a reason here, is going, what the future really entails, and how do you think this negotiation currently on between the government and stakeholders is likely to go?
See, this is an absolutely new, innovative, fantastic innovation which is coming into the world. The world of the blockchain cryptography as technology, which is in fact a very big rival to the conventional centralized database technology on which the financial world today runs, whether our stock exchanges, banks, non-banks, all of them run on the conventional database technology. And here comes a rival technology which can upstage this, can sort of run for the money. So decentralized finance.
Mr. Garg, why do you call it a rival? Sorry, I'm butting in. I'm very curious. Why do you think it's a rival?
It's an alternate technology. It's a new technology. The conventional technology is based on databases, which is controlled by a central authority and central agency. So whether it's the banks, so banks' data is controlled by the banking system, banking regulator and all. Here on the blockchain crypto side, there is really no centralized agency. The data is not anyone, and therefore it's decentralized. System works very differently. Much of it is in program mode rather than data mode, and therefore this is a novel technology. And
but so many countries across the world, Subhashi, have sort of embraced crypto in different forms. And in fact, we can put out those graphics as well on where all crypto is actually there. I'm not talking about El Salvador at all, because there it's in a mode of payment that has been picked up. But as an asset class, as something that people are investing in for the future, as a blockchain tech, etc., you think a regulation is the need of the hour right now to sort of put in check how things are going, but also keep pace with the world?
See, in my judgment, this debate about regulation ban is a very superficial debate. We are actually missing the entire thing by confining the debate to only the ban or regulation. You said right now, which is a fact, that this technology has permeated in all parts of the world. It is doing wonders. It's doing so many things. Bitcoin came as a currency, but now we have several stable coins which are virtually making the remittances, the payment system in the international sense, whether it's USDT or something else. A lot of assets are getting created. You mentioned about NFTs and all. A lot of services are getting created, music, Ripple, and many things. So it's not a simple phenomenon of currency. Unfortunately, it came as a currency. It also has a very unique feature where everything, what we do in the financial system, whether it's capital, whether it's product, whether it's services, whether it's the pricing, all get enmeshed into that platform currency.
I see.
So
You know, the last time the government actually sat on this, or should we say a parliamentary panel sat out on this, I really like the outcome of that. They said that you cannot ban crypto, but you got to regulate it. That was their initial opinion after presentations were made by several IITNs and several stakeholders to make our politicians, first of all, understand what is crypto, right? So how do you look at that conclusion being drawn by the parliamentary panel?
Let us divide into three broad buckets of it. One is the technology, right? The technology cannot be banned, and it's impossible. And nowhere the new innovative technologies are banned, whether it's the industrial revolution technology of steam engines and all, it all comes. So you can delay their arrival. So we didn't allow the cotton mills to come up for many years, but you can't ban it. It has to, because this is more competitive and also. One is the technology aspect. Second is the currency aspect, which is where the most are worried. So whether it's domestic currency competing with local currency, or the stable coins competing with the global currency as a global currency kind of thing. The third is a whole lot of economic goods, services, and assets which are being produced through this system. So I think when we think about how do we deal with it, we will need to figure out that we don't do anything to the technological aspect, any harm to the technology. We also don't create problems or put hindrance on the way to create services, products, and asset on these. It's only the currency aspect, which is where the problem is. Currency is exclusive sovereign. Currency cannot be issued, managed by. If you are able to issue currency, you can flood the world with private currency, and then the currency will lose its own value.
Subhash, I have to say you've explained that really beautifully, and understanding the entire cryptocurrency or the crypto world in these three buckets actually makes a lot of sense. And I really hope a lot of stakeholders here are listening in as well. Thank you so much for putting it out and breaking down in such simple words for people to understand. Thanks so much for your time, sir.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
All right, so that's all we could pack in today's edition of Coffee and Crypto. So much we spoke about today, right? We spoke about how the entire metaverse works. We talked about regulation. We talked about prices as well. Well, really, this is one action-packed show. So don't miss it next time as well. See you on Friday. Toodles.